Alabama didn't become a Republican supermajority until 2010. It was always close, but Democrats weren't completely shut out till the second decade of the 21st century. And to be completely honest, no matter the party, Alabama has always been run by conservatives. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Today is about the Great Red Wave of 2010. And that campaign strategy and Republican takeover can be contributed to basically one man in particular, Mike Hubbard. Mike Hubbard was first elected in 1998. He represented Auburn in the state house. He served as House Minority Leader from 2004 to 2010. He was also the chairman of the state Republican Party starting in 2007. And as chairman of the Alabama Republican Party, he spearheaded the party's successful effort to win to win control of both chambers of the state legislature for the first time in 136 years. And then he was elected to be the Speaker of the House. And hey, he saw a goal and he had a dream, so he chased that dream till he achieved that goal. It's the American dream. One of the main campaign strategies that led to the Great Red Wave was the Republican Party and Mike Hubbard in particular being heavily invested in ending corruption, and they promised sweeping changes to the ethics laws. Time for a new day, they bellowed like a Ricola commercial. But hey, that's great. That's awesome. Something we can all finally agree on. Something I can agree with the right on. A bipartisan issue. Corruption and bribery and quid pro quo and tit for tat and one for me, two for you, and whatever else has no place in modern day politics, no matter the party. So in 2010, the Alabama state government passed the Alabama Ethics Act. And at the time, it was one of the strictest ethics laws in the nation. And they have been trying to gut it ever since. No lie. They passed the strict ass ethics bill and was immediately like, oh no, what the fuck did we do? They swept into office under the guise of cleaning up the government and somewhat delivered on their promise. And then they immediately started backtracking to undo what they promised to do and what they did. I shit you not, Mike Hubbard, the mastermind of the Great Red Wave of 2010, was convicted and sent to prison for ethics violations. He passed the law and was sent to prison for the law that he passed. And the amount of Alabama dumbfuckery with the Mike Hubbard saga is overwhelming. So in 2010, the Bama GOP, under the direction of Mike Hubbard, passes the new ethics law. In October 2014, a special grand jury indicts him on 23 felony ethics charges, saying that he used his office for personal gain, to land consulting contracts and investment help with a printing company. Then a month later, he's reelected to a new term. And then 2 months later, it was only a month between he got indicted and the election. So that might be able to pass. But then 2 months later, after he was reelected, the Alabama House overwhelmingly elected him to be the speaker again. Despite the indictment, despite the 23 charges of breaking the ethics laws that he helped pass. And then in 2016, he was convicted and he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. And he was removed as speaker. He was removed from the legislature, although it would not have surprised me at all if they just had let him stay. So they tried to revise parts of this bill in 2019 and 2020, and they was basically just trying to make what Mike Hubbard did legal. Ain't that subtle. But now they're going to try again here in the year of our Lord 2024. And in 2019, the revisions would have made gifts to public officials legal once again and made bribery a misdemeanor instead of a felony. Very subtle. But this time around, lawmakers are trying to do something even more subtle. They're just going to make ethics crimes not crimes anymore. The Alabama Ethics Commission is charged with holding public officials accountable, and The proposed revisions of the ethics law would strip the commission of much of its authority. It would make its director beholden to lawmakers and turn things that are currently crimes punishable with time in jail, it would turn them into civil offenses and reprimands. Private censures and public reprimands for things that currently carry time behind bars. Public reprimand, don't do it. Don't do it. We don't do it. The 2010 law prohibits public officials from doing things that would unduly benefit a family member. This revision narrows that down to spouses and dependent children. Dependent children. In other words, if you're a public official and you give a humongous no bid contract to your kid, as long as that kid doesn't live in your house or eat your food, then you're A-okay. This bill legally allows any kind of shady deals with just about any family member, mom, dad, grandparents, siblings, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, niece, nephew, that cousin who always shows up to family functions with a flask and an acoustic guitar. And if the Alabama Ethics Commission doesn't like it, then they can censure away. I mean, that's basically just pissing in the wind. Supporters say this bill will protect it against a rogue ethics commission abusing its powers. But the bill leaves the commission exposed to the whims and retaliation of lawmakers. It would empower the legislature to remove commissioners who it doesn't like, give lawmakers approval power over new commission directors when they're hired, and let lawmakers revisit these approvals every 5 years. So if the director of the Ethics Commission or the commission itself does something to upset lawmakers, they can just get fired on a whim. So if they try to hold people accountable, they could be removed. And it's really giving off putting the wolves in charge of the henhouse vibes. The lawmakers spearheading the effort to revise the law was State Representative Matt Simpson, a Republican from Daphne. Simpson said that the ethics laws are difficult for public officials and employees to understand and a burden on teachers and firefighters and et cetera and et cetera. That's funny because I've never heard of a firefighter bitching about ethics laws. I've never heard of a teacher bitching about ethics laws. Even when teachers are charged with ethics violations, I've never heard other teachers bitch about ethics laws. But I do hear lawmakers complain. I basically only hear lawmakers complain. Lawmakers, lobbyists, and their ilk complaining about the very laws that they helped pass. The Bama government actually did something right in 2010 when they put consequences in place for unethical officials. And they have been trying to unravel their work ever since.